with Gareth Evans, who is, of course, one of our major stars at FrightFest Glasgow when he turned up with the raid and the lead actor, which was just great. But now he's back because he came here with VHS 2, because his section in that is one of the best of the lot. Gareth, thank you for coming along. So come on, let's go through the whole VHS 2 thing.
Okay.
Right, the first film, obviously, and then you got involved in the second. So did they just come to you and they went, right, we need you in it?
Basically, like what happened was we had like kind of like almost like a little mini filmmakers community when we did Midnight Madness, and so when we did the raid there, like I got to know Adam and Simon, who did Your Next, because we were both screening at the same time, and then Roxanne and Brad were there as well, and so we kind of all hung out together, and we all stayed friends since then. They went off and did VHS 1, and then I think shortly after it screened in Sundance, they already wanted to do VHS 2. So they contacted me and said, like, was I interested in doing one of the segments for it? And yeah, I was curious about it, interested in it, but I had a little bit of anxiety. I almost swore then.
Swear.
It's fine, yeah?
Swear.
Okay. I had a lot of fucking anxiety because I was like really nervous about, like, because I knew I could do action okay, but I wasn't sure about horror yet. Like, we kind of teased at it a little bit in the raid. We put a few little horror genre elements in there, but never something which is full on horror. And so I found out afterwards that they'd also contacted Timo, like, who was a really good friend of mine since I moved to Indonesia. And he's a horror guy, like, you know, you guys screened Macabre and everything else. And so, yeah, I contacted him, and we'd always been looking for something to collaborate on. And this seemed like the perfect fit, like a perfect opportunity for us to experiment with collaboration and also figure out what we could do with the POV, like, found footage format.
But they didn't ask you to be involved in VHS, just
not the first one. No,
you
just
were
came for the
busy or
second
something.
one. I guess so. I think I was off. We were doing promo and stuff for the raid.
Oh, okay.
But I think VHS had been like in gestation before then. It was quite a while before. Yeah.
Oh. So how did you come up with the idea for your segment?
Well, I didn't. Like, I gotta give complete credit to Timo for that one, because he was the one that had the whole like brainchild of the storyline. He came up to me, and we were trying to figure out ideas for it, and I didn't really have anything at that point. And he said, like, oh, what if we do something about, like, journalists that go into this cult group on the Day of Reckoning? And then straight away I was like, that's brilliant. This is a genius idea. Let's do that. And then, like, because Timo has this, like, encyclopedic knowledge of everything to do with the horror genre in terms of film, but then also, like, real life horror. And so he starts, like, telling me about, like, the Jonestown Massacre. And I knew little bits about it, but I'd never really read into it. And he starts playing me like this audio clip of like the actual day of it when he gives out this final sermon, and it terrified me. It was horrible. It was nasty. It was really creepy to hear like kids in the background and stuff like that. It just freaked me out. And so like I was like, well, there's plenty of stuff that we can mine from this to kind of make our segment. But my biggest concern was like, you know, this is something, if you treat it in like terms of that real life context, that it becomes more about like pain and suffering, and it's like, you know, how are we going to do a 20-30 minute thriller-eyed short for an anthology but touch on those subjects? And so we started looking at like ways that we could incorporate different elements that would help us like boost up the adrenaline and make it, for want of a better word, entertaining as well. And so then we started introducing like things like the occult and like, you know, satanic things, and then the idea of hell breaking loose, and what if one of those whack jobs that believes he can open up the gates of hell can. And so then by that happening, it opened it up, because you ask the audience to suspend their disbelief a little bit further, and then it allows you to kind of play it a little bit looser with the elements, and it made us be able to kind of soften the blow of mass suicides and kids drinking chocolate milk. So like we were able to kind of twist it into this sort of like twisted adrenaline rush.
Do you know going in the wraparound story? Not that it makes any difference.
No, we didn't. Like we had a vague idea of like other people's stories, like Jason's one and Adam's one, and then Eduardo and Greg's one. Right. We knew what they were doing. We just come up with our pitch and then send it in. And I think like the check-in process was just to make sure that like none of us were doing anything that kind of crossed over each other. Yeah. Like, you know, you don't want to have two things about cults in there.
Yeah.
So and the only notes that really came back were more on the basis of like what would be the shooting format, because I know Eduardo's was very specifically like a GoPro shot one, and then so was Jason's. And then so for us, then we were like, okay, well, we wanted to use GoPro, but then we asked if we could use it sparingly, because they didn't want the whole film to look the same from beginning to end. So we started looking at different technology then to kind of figure out what we could use.
Sure. Now yours is the longest story of the whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, did you go in again knowing, did they give you an optimum sort of time?
They were really good to us. Like, they gave us a lot of freedom, because like we got told originally at the start 20 minutes, 25 tops. And then we're writing and we start getting carried away, and then we end up having like a 32-page script, and we're like, we can't bring this in at 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because usually there's a page a minute, but when it's horror or action, it's a lot longer. Like the raid script was like about 70 pages, 72 pages. That was it. It was 101 minutes on screen. So then I was starting to look at, like, we got like 2-paragraph descriptions and stuff, which I know is going to pad out for 3 minutes maybe. And so our first cut came in at 45 minutes long. And then we were starting to trim bits away, and like it was mostly front heavy in terms of the edits. We took out some of the character building stuff to kind of get to the compound a lot quicker. But we felt we needed that breathing space, because what we wanted to do was to set up the structure, the geography of that compound. So you go in slowly, you go in and learn all these different corridors, see these different rooms, see these different characters and where they're positioned, so that when all hell breaks loose and we go chaotic and run back out through there, you know that around that corner there's going to be a classroom full of kids. In that room there's a group of guys. In this room there's a couple. And there's all these different things that where it doesn't matter how much we move and how much we kind of create chaos and rampage through it, you still get an understanding of the geography then. So you're still clear in your head.
And having said that, though, yours is perhaps the best one segment, really, isn't it, in a way?
I can't say that.
Oh, you can't say that. Is anybody in your bit famous? Are they Indonesian famous?
Yeah, actually, in Indonesia, this is the thing, it's kind of strange, because the journalists are all well known. They're all really well known in terms of the industry there. I mean, and then the father of the compound, his name's Epi Kusnandar. He's an amazing actor. Before he worked with me and Timo, he was really well known for doing a comedy TV show. He played a comedy character, and just that was it, slapstick stuff. And then Timo cast him as a paedophile jerking off in El Libido, and then suddenly we cast him as this a paedophile leader of a religious cult. And now suddenly he's this character actor now, and suddenly he's doing all these things with us, and we're finding more and more shady characters for him to do, and we just love him to bits. He brought so much to the project.
Great. I mean, what does the Indonesian film industry think about you? I mean, you go along there, you sort of shake it up a bit. I mean, how do they cope with you? Do they like it? Do they not like it?
Yeah, I mean, vast majority of I've had a lot of support since I started there. There were a few nationalistic press when I first started. When I did Maranta, we did our announcement that we were going to go into production. They didn't like the idea of a foreigner going out there to mess with their culture and heritage, which is understandable. But to be honest, the majority of people have kind of supported me through it, and in terms of the film industry too, a lot of people supported us too. It's been a big adventure really since we started. In terms of this film though, there's no way it'll play in Indonesia. There's no way at all. They won't pass censorship.
Oh, I see.
And I guess that was kind of what made
part of the reason.
Timo felt liberated by it, is that idea we didn't have to think about what the Indonesian censorship would make of it, because it was for America, it was for UK, it was for outside. Sure. So we just went crazy with it.
And when was the first time you actually saw the whole film put together, and what was your first impression?
Well, I first saw it on a screener DVD, and they sent us over a screener DVD so we could see how it was all cut together. But watching it at home on my own is different from being able to experience last night. That was the first time I got to see it with an audience, and there's a huge crowd, and there's a great screen, amazing venue, and so to kind of see it all polished and put together and with the sound button, it was really fun. It was really great.
Well, of course, not only that, you brought along the first clips of the raid too, which we thank you for. I mean, that looks fantastic, and that really went down. I don't know if you've seen Twitter today, but it's gone mental. Isn't
it was fun. It was really good. I was nervous as hell before the clip played, because I was like, oh shit, how are they going to respond? But no, I've been really happy to see.
Sure. And you've finished the raid too.
Finished shooting now, yeah. So I'm
just getting it together, and you have to deliver it when?
We're looking to finish everything on it by middle of January next year. That's the goal line for it.
And the plan for that is to launch Cannes or something.
Maybe before that. Hopefully we might be able to do something in January, possibly. But
sure.
we'll see. It all depends on finishing it in time.
Sure. And beyond that, is there any other projects?
Yeah, I'm actually working with Timo again. So he's going to direct and I'm going to produce for him. We're going to do a neo-noirish hitman thriller in Indonesia called The Night Comes For Us. And so Joe Taslim, who was in the first raid and ended up doing Fast 6, we've got him just before he became super popular, so we can still afford him.
Ah.
And it's kind of like tailor made for him. And then Yayan, who played Mad Dog in the Raid, he'll be in it as well. And so it's kind of using some of our stable of actors that we've worked with before to tell this like really crazy action movie. And Timo wants to do action now.
Right.
So like I've crossed over for horror with him. Now he's crossed over to action with me. Yeah.
Right. Well, listen. I mean, it was great. Thanks very much. And
Thanks so much.
VHS2 really played well for us last night, and we're really pleased. Gareth Evans.